fickle. They're fickle.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the yard of streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West you can't forget about, Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
How we doing?
Fine.
How we doing on this fine-ass Tuesday? Club going up on a
Going.
Tuesday, some might say. Is the club going up in your club going up on a Tuesday?
No.
Unfortunately, no. Oh, that's tough. Neither here. We're tired. All right. You ever have those days where you think an appointment or thing that you have is one day, or that day, I mean, and ends up being the next day?
No, because I hyperfixate on things like that. So
Okay, well, that happened to me today.
mm,
I thought I had personal training today, and we kind of pigged out last night after golf. Got Cumberland Farms pizza, which usually is great. Really, I would say B-, C+ level if you're just looking for something quick, because their hot food is usually good. Not the case this time. Not the case. And
I
we had a
don't
rough
remember
morning.
Cumberland Farms like that.
Oh, they have a whole hot food section.
Yeah,
It's
not-
so underrated.
Not when I lived there. They
Yeah.
were like little holes in the wall.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
we still have those, Tedeschi's and Sunoco's and
I remember
Mobile.
Tedeschi's.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, Tedeschi's was like when I was in 6th grade, I think the first one got put in.
Oh, I remember that. I still remember that back in the day.
When you still lived in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so it was like that, not good for the tummy, and it just took everything out of me, and also work when, working all day, running a fish pier, it's like your body's just exhausted. And I'm like, I can't lift weights. I'll drive, I'll do whatever, but just can't lift weights today. He was like, bro, all good tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, yes. Thank God. Because tomorrow will be good. We can sleep in a little bit. We're not
Are you off
running.
tomorrow?
No. So on Tuesdays and Saturdays, I have to get up earlier. On Tuesdays, just like we have to get, or on Saturdays, we have to get up at 4 a.m. And on Tuesdays around like 4:45, 5 a.m. because I run the shop then.
Mm-hmm.
So on those days, I need to be there at like the ass crack of dawn to get everything going. Where on these days, I'm just like a salesman, customer relations guy, where you do what you need to at the job site. And to put it in simple terms, you go to the job site and then you go off and, pitch and try to do sales. So that's fun. And to the point where I would like to make this my full-time career. So hit that subscribe button, bell notification to know every time we go live. All right. And when we post new videos, because we post new videos pretty much every day. Sara crushes it there behind the scenes doing that shit while I have to sell the fish. So we do that thing where we hit the subscribe button. Thank you, peeps. And now we're going to talk about some Raw, Sara. Raw on Netflix last night. Raw after Backlash, which I feel like for the main event, you and we haven't talked about it because we got so heated about one certain thing, which we obviously will rewind and talk about here. But we didn't really talk about the main event all that much before. I mean, it was expected victory, so that's why I wasn't clamoring and, jumping to text you. You know what I mean? Because I felt like we're expected. And the only thing that I would like to know is like your stance on R-Truth in all of this.
Oh, are you talking about Backlash?
Yeah, we'll start Backlash before we rewind it to Raw. Just to keep the people up to speed.
I don't mind it. Like, I know that he's kind of random, but I kind of feel like maybe Cena is trying to revisit some of his more memorable feuds from over the years. And I would say that R-Truth turning heel in like 2010, 2011 was pretty memorable for most people. So, and I love it secretly because their match at Capital Punishment, the video is one of the videos that I'm in for supporting Cena. So I'm definitely going to bring that back if they, announce the official match or whatever between them. So I think it's fine. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I know people are going to be mad about it because they don't necessarily view R-Truth as a legitimate contender for the title, but we don't know what's going on with Cody Rhodes. We don't know if Cena is going to defend the title against more people on Raw, because obviously people have said they want to see him versus CM Punk. We want to see him versus Joe Hendry. We want to see him versus Drew McIntyre, whatever. Like, there are still other opponents that he can face, but it feels like R-Truth could be one of them. And it's like, it's whatever. Like, if you're just going to get mad at Cena's last run, I don't really, to me, it's like, I don't necessarily love everything that's been happening, but the people that are complaining about it are the people who loved Roman Reigns being champion for almost 4 years and like going 6 months without defending it. And it's like, well, at least Cena's showing up and like defending it,
He's doing new
like,
stuff. He's doing stuff with it. He's furthering along this heel character that he's doing. And it is interesting. It's keeping me watching it. There's only 1 week I can remember where I didn't particularly like it, just felt repetitive, but then the next week they kicked it back. So like, just patience, let it play out type of thing. I am very entertained by this R-Truth story they're gonna do, and it's great to see R-Truth getting that spotlight, because he has been someone who is not carried, not that, but he's always been there, and everything you put him in gets a reaction, which is exactly what you want if you're the people in the back. And what he's doing is creating a lasting image or feeling to the fan, and that's what's been great about it.
And I think there was also that moment as the show was ending where Cena was standing there and just like looking at the title and looking kind of emotional or like questioning himself, which was obviously not that long after R-Truth came in to like try and help him. And we know that he then put him through the table at the press conference. But it's kind of interesting because it feels like R-Truth could be the one to make Cena like come to his senses or something. Because as much as people wanted to see Cena turn heel, it feels like people aren't enjoying it as much as they thought they would. Whether that, I don't know if it's just because they aren't pleased with how they've gone about the heel run, or if they just they don't believe him as a heel, which I've seen that a lot from people. But I don't think that it would be bad to end his heel run at maybe a little bit earlier than we anticipated, and have him go and maybe realize his wrongs or whatever, and he can still defend the title and win. But I think that people would be just as invested, if not more, in like a babyface Cena versus a babyface CM Punk, a babyface Cena versus whoever, they're not going to care. Oh, like he's going against Punk, and I'm a huge Punk fan, but I also love Cena. Like, I have to boo one of them. It's like, you really don't. It's like, at this point, it's just for nostalgia.
You don't. You're gonna cheer both of them because it's wrestling and you love them both. That's why. It's not sports. You're not having to choose between Red Sox and Yankees, or Mets, Phillies, whatever, because that's your fandom, that's your allegiance. That's not the case with wrestling. You can love you can love half the superstars and hate half the superstars, but when the half that you love have to face each other, you can cheer. That's okay. That's the beauty of wrestling. And I do want to go back to what you said about R-Truth, though, and how he could be the guy to help him. Maybe it gets to a point where Cena beats the living shit out of Truth, and at 1, 2, 3, the bell rings. Cena has that moment of realization where he questions what he did because that's
Well,
our truth. He's been through it all, whatever. And that could be a pivot if it's not going well. We don't know the plans. I don't know them at this moment, but it's just something to think about where you have people not enjoying it as much. Maybe we don't know. Maybe this is part of it. I don't know, but I'm
well,
liking
what I thought was interesting is when he was standing on the ring apron and like looking like he was kind of questioning it, the fans were chanting, "Thank you, Cena." So I almost feel like it's possible that the fans can be a reason that he turns back, because the fans were the reason that he has now
He turned his
embarked on
back.
this heel run, because he's like, they never appreciated me. They always wanted more out of me. I was just a puppet, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they're booing him, but they're also giving him that appreciation that if we're buying into the things that he's saying on a weekly basis, they're giving him that appreciation that he's claiming they never gave him. So it feels like if that continues, or if maybe it reaches a peak at some moment, that he could be like, okay, wait a second. Like everything that I've been saying for the past however many months is not true. Like they do want me here. They don't care that I'm not necessarily here every week. They do appreciate what I'm doing and what I've done, and maybe that's like his realization. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it can really go either way if they really are going to go down the path of R-Truth, because people are going to go crazy for R-Truth. So if he like beat the shit out of him, they're gonna
that would get people to boo. That would get people to just boo the shit out of him.
That's why it's like it depends on what direction they want to go. Like, do you want to keep going with what looks like the plan, or do you want to kind of like change it up because you see that it's not hitting maybe the same that you were hoping it would?
I mean, even if he does beat the shit out of R-Truth, Judgment Day beat the shit out of R-Truth for about a month
every week,
and he was like, "What's up, guys?
Yeah,
I love that initiation event we did yesterday." Like, all right, Truth. You're fucking great. Oh, good little intro there. Before we hop into the actual Raw talk, we have to say what's up to the peeps. Salute to Kevin, not Kervin, Kevin. Why WWE doing Gunther versus Jey Uso again? One reason, one show, or one show, whatever.
One reason is because the Raw after Money in the Bank cash-in is going to happen. That was the surprise that I was going to talk about. We'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. I didn't get that. What's up, Sophia? She got some new clothes at Dick's House of Sport. It's the first I've ever heard of House of Sport. What's up, Nathaniel? Feel really bad for Tatum. Hopefully he's okay. Also, do you guys think Becky beats Lyra in a rematch? 100%.
Yeah, Tatum had surgery because he ruptured his Achilles. So he'll be out for 2025, 2026, which is just friggin' awesome.
Sarah, I took your advice on that one, and I was watching, and I could see us losing, and I stopped watching. And I didn't watch on Saturday. So that's what, and then that happened. I was watching Raw and getting texts in the group chat like, fuck, shit, damn, it's over. I'm like, what, guys, they're up 8. It's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. What's up, bad guy? Jay, I think it is, or whoever.
My biggest hater.
Wants to see Randy Cena rematch because Randy needs to win. Well, what if he doesn't have to beat Cena?
Well, and next one would be 15. So he needs to win 4 more. He needs 4 more title runs to beat Cena. So
you get 10 years. He said 10 years. I think we could squeeze in 4 title runs. Oh, maybe. I don't know. What's up, David? I know Tatum sucks. That news sucks. What up, Unhinged main event, Fro?
What's going on?
Jimmy stuff in 2011 was incredible. It was all time to the point. I don't know if you saw this, but
yes,
R-Truth, is it the R-Truth pitching a fake little Jimmy? Did you see that?
I think so.
He pitched it to Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie was all in on the idea, except the fact that it probably was not going to get passed by the board. So, because you're selling nothing. You want to sell a fake, just a little Jimmy action figure, but you just open the box and it's nothing inside. I mean, that's the thing. The board would not pass it, but little do we know, wrestling fans absolutely would.
If it was like $5, yeah, people would have bought it. Like,
Absolutely.
because it's just a funny memory. And they would end up being valuable, like, even though it's nothing.
Isn't
Like,
that crazy to think? Like, it actually would be valuable because it
mm,
would be.
because it would be like considered a rarity. Like, you
That's
know?
crazy to think about.
Hmm. But that's the thing though, like boxes are worth money. Like you can it's like it doesn't even have to have the product inside. The box is worth money on its own, which is
That's the
crazy.
thing.
And
That's the
people
point because it
will
was
buy it.
made in because it was made in 2011
Hmm.
or something, whatever. Calvin, I think we just need to appreciate that we're gonna see Sheamus bro kick Grayson Waller next Monday. I think that's what we need to take away, and not who made the match happen. The powers that be made the match happen. All right,
I'm
you got
bummed
to
that we
use
didn't get that promo on
where's
TV though. Like
imagination. You got to use our imagination. What promo?
the interview with Waller in Theory. You
I
have to
know.
have Netflix without commercials.
Or VPN, NordVPN. Cultaholic
Mm.
told me about it. I should probably invest in it.
Fightful has NordVPN
That's why there's
code. Yeah.
Oh, they do? Oh, all
Mhm.
right. Well, that's just confirmed. Speaking of more things that may or may not be concerned, Sarah, you're kicking things off with this. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so Raw kicked off again, obviously, with the predictable stuff because a lot of the main things right now, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, CM Punk, and this entanglement with Braun Breaker. Punk came out and called out Paul Heyman, and the drama just ensued from there. Like, I'm not even gonna go over every single teeny tiny thing, but eventually, obviously, a brawl broke out, and we had Sami Zayn, the brown noser, come out to help Punk, which then also had Jey Uso come out to help Punk, which then immediately makes it obvious that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are outnumbered. Now, they made this match official for Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks, so it will be 2-on-2. However, because they involved Jey Uso, and yes, Jey Uso has other things going on that we'll talk about later. He still got involved in this story, and that doesn't feel like a mistake. So it did kind of feel like we got some sort of indication that maybe Seth is going to add a third guy, because what was the point of them going 3-on-2 if
Correct.
that wasn't going to happen?
Yeah, you know that question's going to be asked, and you know Jay's going to have Sammy's back whenever. Maybe the same for Punk based on, what we've seen like off camera stuff and like maybe war games. But, Jay's going to go out there and defend his dog. Because of that, whenever you go attack them, Paul Heyman is not your third guy. I'm sorry. The Penguin is not going to help you. The Penguin's mind is going to help you. Who does he have in mind that could align themselves with Braun and Seth? That question, there's so many names. There's just so many names that
but
make sense.
The problem is that none of them, in my opinion, like excite me. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there was an excitement when we saw it was Braun Breaker that was joining Seth, because I don't think anyone would have really expected that necessarily. It's like you knew that there was that connection between him and Paul Heyman, but like he had just lost the Intercontinental title at Mania, so it was like you assume that he's just gonna, be in that vortex for a while, and then we'll see what happens. But there was a loud pop when he took that hood off, and it was like, holy shit, that's Braun
That place got
Breaker.
loud. Yeah, it was.
So, but it's hard for me to think about someone who could match that to be like as the third guy. Like there are people that
to match that though.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but I feel like a lot of the people that we have speculated about, and others, it's kind of been more so of who we feel like needs that extra push to kind of like, I don't know, develop more in their career, and that's fine, but like there might be other people who make more sense or are more exciting, so it's like Austin Theory, Like, could he be great? Sure. But I'm like more invested in what's going to happen with him and Grayson Waller than I am with him joining Seth Rollins right now. So like, I don't know if I want to
It
see
seems like
that.
a force, like you're forcing it based on connection.
So
You don't
that's
wanna
what
do
I'm
that.
saying. It's like, yeah, Theory, it would be great for Theory's career, but like, I still think he would thrive as a babyface. So like, throwing him into this group feels like he would just be overshadowed once again, because like he can become a star, but you obviously Seth Rollins is a star. There's big arguments to be made that Braun Breaker already is a star as well. So that doesn't immediately benefit Theory. So it's like, who can match that already? I don't
Mhm.
know. And that's why I'm like stuck on who this third person could be.
It has to be just because of what happened, how they were outnumbered. You know, Seth's not just gonna accept, you know, attacking someone from behind or
Mhm.
out of nowhere, and then knowing that those two guys are just gonna come out and attack you. There needs to be a solution. You know, you're outnumbered. Why? Whatever. So it needs to be. I just don't know who it would be.
I wonder if there's somebody like in
Whatever.
NXT.
There's where my mind goes. You know, the only person I can really think of would be like a Trick Williams, but Trick
Yeah.
Williams is kind of
He,
running dark state.
well, and I feel like he hasn't been a convincing enough heel yet. You know what I mean?
No, but Heyman would make him like that's the thing is that exactly what your
Well,
thoughts are is he has not been convincing. Well, this would be the opportunity
and then that
for him
makes
to
it.
be convincing.
Then there's that argument that you could make that maybe the third person doesn't need much from Paul Heyman because Braun
They just
Breaker is getting that. You know? So it's like if we have a Seth Rollins who's obviously it's more of the story of him being able to convince Paul to join him. He's not really, I mean, behind the scenes and stuff, I'm sure, but like obviously he's well tenured in his career that he doesn't need like guidance from Paul Heyman the way that Braun Breaker would benefit from. So it's like, so then maybe we need to be looking at people who don't need that much help from Paul.
Yeah, I would like Finn Balor if he
Oh my
was not
God.
still angry at his own family. You know, that'd be cool. I know he's on another show, but it's legitimately the first name that pops in mind is Drew McIntyre. Like that
I
is the
know.
first name that pops in mind.
The
Aligning
problem
themselves
is
in
the
this group.
bloodline, though.
Wait,
Like he
nah, no.
might have big beef with Paul because remember they were gonna try to do this Drew McIntyre like bloodline killer thing.
Paul did it, but Paul the bloodline.
We would need to
I
have
like
like a proper explanation, I feel like, from Drew, because that could make him look like a hypocrite, but I don't know.
The hypocrite. The story from him is, yeah, you guys are all hypocrites, so I'm joining or something.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. It'll be interesting to see who it is. I don't know. And we haven't gotten any hint of that
Keep it
either.
under wraps. I like that though. I like
Yeah.
that. Don't tell me shit.
Well, and we
Don't
said,
tell me
I think it was
anything.
last week when we said there might not even be a third guy. Or is it, did we say this last
might
week? Or I
not
said
be.
it on, I might have said it
No.
on TikTok.
No, you said on the show. I think it might have been the
Okay.
Super Show though.
Yeah, it was like there might not be a third guy. Like, I mean, this was based on what we've seen. We'll talk about it. It feels like this was a one-off, at least for right now, to have Jay involved because they then made this match official to be a tag match at Saturday night's main event. So obviously, because Jay is doing something else, he will not be involved. So it's like that gives them time, I guess, to eventually find a third person because who knows what's going to happen with Jay after Saturday night's main event. Maybe he'll get back involved and it will need to be a 3-on-3 situation. But again, we don't know. There is fantasy ideas of what
Incredible.
a third man could look like. So
it could be Rhea Ripley, honestly.
I mean, it could be a woman in general. Yeah.
Like it could be Rhea Ripley.
Maybe.
Wrap up her shit with Io.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's how she gets the title off of Io. See,
and that's because also Paul loves Rhea. So
who doesn't?
Well, yeah. But anyway, so the first match of the night was Penta versus Chad Gable, which was weird because Penta should have beef with El Grande Americano, not Chad Gable. So I'm
That's
not really
correct,
sure.
Sarah.
I'm not sure why this match happened instead of that one.
That's a good point. Why we fight? You know what? No, Sarah, you're right. You are right. But maybe they just need a good wrestling on the card. You know, Chad Gable's a great wrestler.
Well,
Penta's an excellent
he
wrestler.
has beef with luchadors. So
Boom. There it is.
I will say that I appreciate that Michael Cole like sees through the BS and he's like, Chad Gable is El Grande Americano, and McAfee is like, no, he's not. It's like it's a more fun dynamic to listen to, because it's like, it's the same thing when Elias was Ezekiel, and it was like they had a commentator that was like, oh my god, this is the same dude. Speaking of, Elijah debuted again in NXT last week.
He did in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Battle Royal.
I will say I was a little excited, even if he is a little bit weird now. So he just like goes on TikTok live and reads Bible verses. But
he's a follower of, his name's Elijah, of course.
I know.
He is.
So anyway, that was exciting, because I feel like they should have made him into a big star, but it is what it is. Anyway, Penta and Chad Gable, as this says, they tore the house down. I mean, I don't really have much more to say about it than that, because this match was good. Penta won, obviously. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I really have anything else to say about it.
No,
honestly.
it was really entertaining. I keep using that word. I gotta stop using it. It was a really fun way to start Raw. It was high energy. Both guys can use the top rope, one being more of a high flyer than the other.
That also crazy Spanish fly.
Oh, the Spanish fly was insane. The code breaker from
the destroyer.
The code breaker, and then after that, the destroyer from the top, like going down. That was a solid first match to Raw, which that's how it should be done. Also, need your thoughts on a Mexican destroyer finishing the match. It needs. We're on the boat that we can't be wheeling out destroyers left and right. Like, destroyer, bounce back up, I'm gonna hit you with a destroyer.
Yeah, but this kind of goes back to the argument that I was making last week or the week before about finishers needing to be more protected. That was something that people talked about with Randy and Cena, because they were dishing out AAs, RKOs, and it was just like there was like 8 of them combined in the match, and it was like they just kept kicking out or whatever. And in that, I guess it depends on the context, which is something that I said. And in that context, it was like, okay, it's nostalgic. We can kind of look past that he just like kicked out of 3 RKOs, and usually Randy wins with an RKO. But I think that the Mexican destroyer, I think, is too cool to be used as much as they're using it right now. Because you start to not think it's as awesome when you start to see it every single week.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's maybe just because we're fans of WWE and they didn't have somebody that was doing it all that often, so it kind of seemed like special in that way.
I just remember watching Petey Williams in TNA doing it, and he was the only dude doing it, which is why I loved it so much. I've never seen someone be able to do something like that in a wrestling ring, or just ever. And when you see it all the time in the AEW specifically, yeah, it's great. I love seeing Orange Cassidy hit one and then someone else bouncing off the ropes hitting one. Like, cool, like, great spot. But when it's every week and you're doing it for more of just a live crowd reaction, a cheap pop, it's like, all right, cool. Like, no, I'm not into it. Like, I'm not like, I would much rather see Penta use it only for a signature, only get a 3 count with the, mid card guys, and a guy like Randy Orton. Yeah, he kicks out of it, but like, that's it. You know? So
yeah, that's why I said I feel like context matters when we're talking about like finishers and how they should be protected more. I feel like in this context, like it does matter. Like, it shouldn't be that he's having to hit multiple, or it's like then create a new finisher. If you really want to have like something like the Mexican destroyer be like in your repertoire that you just use all the time, like if you can, then that's fine. But then I want to see something else as your finisher.
Got to lead to something. It's got to
Yeah.
lead to something else.
Yeah. Let's see. RM says, I've come to accept Gable has re-signed to fill the Ziggler role on Raw, mid-card heel, to take losses but put on good matches. True, but I do think that he'll probably get back into he'll get into the mid-card scene. I don't think that they'll let him not become Intercontinental Champion, but they might want to do it when he is a babyface. I feel like that might go over better.
Mhm.
That's kind of it feels like they could have. You could argue that should have been what WrestleMania 40 was, that it should have been Chad Gable instead of Sami Zayn. As much as I didn't want it to happen, it feels like that was the opportunity to do it for Chad Gable, and they didn't.
Oh, okay. That was the opportunity. I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Sami got it.
It's like the same thing when we said with Otis and Chad Gable. They completely whiffed on that, and then it just didn't hit. So it feels like that might be what happens with Gable winning the IC title eventually. I do like this from Jay. He said they need to have El Grande Americano interfere in Chad Gable's match to help him. I almost thought that was going to happen.
No, we did say something like that, though. We did say something like that similarly.
I was thinking that might have happened last night, that there was just going to be some random person that was going to come out and they were going to be like, oh my God, because they did that the first week that they showed El Grande, and then they were like, oh yeah, he got arrested behind Gable, but they haven't done it since. And I'm like, you should do that again.
They haven't.
And it would be funny because it doesn't even have to be someone who's active. I think they used Shawn Spears on SmackDown to attack Cena as the fake Randy. You can do that too. There's probably somebody in NXT or whatever that they can dress up like him, and you'd be like, oh, or you can hire an indie guy that kind of looks like Gable or something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could even have one of the Creeds dress up like him. You could also have some random person dress up like him in the audience, and that it's just distracting. You know what I mean? They doesn't have to get physical. But anyway, so this was part of the conversation. I changed it just for you.
Hold on, I'm tweeting out the show.
Okay. So this was the conversation that we had that was heated, and I might not feel that way now because I feel exhausted. But this is true. This is a monumental moment for you, Jay, and for me. It is the first time that we agree on something.
See, bridges can be built and crossed.
For now, but then he follows it up with this.
Damn it, dude! We're
you literally let it happen for 30 seconds, Jay. It
God
was
damn.
We were on good terms for 30 seconds, bro.
The Brooklyn Bridge was up longer.
So because we were talking about Backlash, obviously this Raw was supposed to be the fallout of Backlash, and Gunther beats McAfee at Backlash, which was what a lot of people expected. However, it did not go down, in my opinion, the way a lot of people expected. I said that I wasn't feeling confident about him walking out the winner. I wouldn't have been surprised if McAfee got one over just for the sake of shock value, I guess. And that didn't happen. But most people that I saw, at least the people I saw online, thought that this was going to be a brutal beatdown of McAfee, that we would have that hero moment, the Super Cena moment, where you think that McAfee actually has a chance, and then Gunther just demolishes him. People were even talking about him getting taken out on a stretcher, just to hammer home the pure brutality of Gunther. It's not what happened. In fact, Pat McAfee was standing eye to eye with Gunther at the end of the match after Gunther won. He then showed up on Raw with seemingly no battle wounds besides that
barbaric for you to say no battle wounds.
He didn't.
He showed it to the camera. He showed his battle wounds.
He
had
very
real battle
red
wounds.
Marks. He had red marks on his chest that probably
tell
faded.
that to McAfee. Tell
I
that to McAfee. It was just red marks.
And I don't know. I am not thrilled about it. I think that they've been doing Gunther dirty. RM says Gunther having to wait on Jay in June signals that WWE has no main event guys for Gunther to feud with. That is correct. He also says that he believes him and Rhea are in the same boat because creative has like nothing for them outside of the title picture. Oh, no, I can't agree with you, bad guy. My issue is, and I've been saying it for a long time, is I don't really understand what they've been doing with Gunther basically since he won the title at SummerSlam. It just feels like they put the title on him because they just wanted to reward him, or they had plans for Damian Priest, and that's why they took the title off of Priest, although they didn't really do anything with him versus Finn. Which I think that feud disappointed and should have been a lot better. Because then they only had Gunther go against Damian Priest, and then it took months for him to go against Jey Uso just to lose at Mania. So they really did nothing during his World Heavyweight title run. And then they give him to Pat McAfee just to give him back to Jey Uso. I just don't think that they're making him look strong. Like the way that he was viewed as the Intercontinental Champion feels like it was 18 years ago. Like it just that it's not the same vibe at all. Like I know that you don't agree, but like the way that people feared going against Gunther, it's not the case anymore. Like he barely was able to beat down a commentator, and then we're dealing with this. So it's very disappointing.
Mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. You just say like commentate, like
he is. If we're talking about in the WWE landscape, what does he do 90% of the time?
But it's that, and you saying there's no story.
Okay, I didn't say that. There was like, a 2-week-long story.
Which that's enough. Like
that's not enough.
That's part of the fall of the villain. Like that's the villain's fall, is that he lost his title to the fall. That's not the point, Sarah. It's Jey Uso's time.
That's fine, but he doesn't need to have a fall. That's what I'm saying.
We don't have to. Happens.
We don't need. Okay, but he should be going on like a steamrolling of the locker room. He shouldn't be barely beating a commentator. That's the point. He shouldn't be going against commentator mid-card guys who are given the World Heavyweight title, or random mid-card people that have no business going against Gunther. That should not be like, why are we not having him go against main event talent? Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, Randy Orton. Why is he not going against those caliber of people?
Because it doesn't fit in the story right now.
It doesn't make sense. The story could change next week. It like there is. That's not an argument. That's not
how things. No, it's at Mania. He goes up to the podium, and then Cole and McAfee make their comments. They've been buddy with Jay all week, all year, whatever. And then he wins. Gunther's pissed off, and then Michael Cole says that to him. McAfee steps up. All right, there's the base for that. Now the match itself, did you want Pat McAfee to just like die in that ring and then not show up on his show on my the man beat down McAfee. No, like Gunther beat him down to the point where Michael Cole gets up.
Okay, wait.
And tries to help him.
Let's look at one of his most recent beatdowns. Jimmy Uso. How is him randomly beating up Jimmy Uso seemed more scary, brutal, dominating than him in a match with McAfee? We're talking about a trained wrestler who literally, like, that's all he does, compared to a guy who literally just trains on the weekends or whenever he has time and is mostly a commentator, hanging in there. Like, so I'm not saying he needed to leave him a bloody mess.
Yeah, because what happens after that?
But this isn't. Oh shoot! No.
What happened?
My thing broke.
Oh shit!
No, what I'm saying.
What happens after? What happens after he leaves him at like a bloody mess?
I'm not okay. That's
or like
not what I'm
leaves
saying.
him out on a stretcher.
Hold on. Oh my God, what's going on? No, what I'm saying is he didn't have to leave him as a bloody mess. What I'm saying is, and I said this to you before we started streaming, I said I would have preferred if McAfee had at least sold the injuries or the chokeout more than he did. At least if he could have done that, I would not be bitching and moaning right now. But the fact that he didn't do any of that is the thing that I have the problem with, because if we're supposed to believe Gunther's got his groove back, baby, after losing to Jey Uso, and he's gonna prove that by beating down and beating McAfee, even if it doesn't look like what he did to Jimmy Uso. We could have at least had McAfee, like I said, laying on the ground for a little bit. You know, Gunther maybe already walked in and left the entrance ramp. He already went to the back, and then that's when McAfee gets up, and that's when he gets his like applause from the audience. You know what I'm saying? It would have gotten the exact same reaction. The fans would have cheered crazy for him. People would have been like, oh my God, he hung in there with Gunther. Like, he might not have won, but wow. It could have been the same thing that him and Cole said on commentary. Like when McAfee was like, I think that Gunther respects us now. Like, he doesn't view us the same. All of that could have been the same had he just stayed down for like 2 minutes.
No,
That's
the look they shared and this to McAfee,
No,
that's a sign of respect where the beef's over.
we
It's
didn't need
done.
that. We didn't need
What do you
that.
mean we didn't need that is how you end this. That's how you end it. That's how you put a bow on it.
See, but this is the problem. He's the same guy that lost to Jay. This is exactly what I'm telling you, that people are viewing him.
Fun mission. That's what Backlash is.
It did nothing for Gunther.
It
It
got
did
him on the
nothing.
Backlash card. That's exactly what it did.
No, it's done nothing to make him look strong again.
Yes, it did. It beat the shit out of Pat McAfee.
He didn't beat the shit out of him if he's standing, Pat.
No, you're so wrong. It's like
not.
kind of mind-boggling.
No,
He did beat him.
he didn't, because he
did
was
not
standing.
get right back up in Austin Aries'
he
nose
did.
goal.
He just
No, he
got
didn't.
back.
Did
Yes,
you
he
not
did.
watch
He
the same
was
match?
Gunther hadn't even left the ring yet, and he's standing there. Like, Gunther hadn't even celebrated the win yet, and McAfee is standing there across the ring from him.
He did celebrate the win. McAfee was sitting down and catching his breath, being helped by Michael Cole and the referee before he got up and said, okay, props to you, you got up.
See,
beef over. Done.
This is what I'm telling you. People see it.
A lot of people on YouTube.
Well, it's still social media. I don't think this is being biased, though. If we're trying to make Gunther look like a dominant person, hold on. I'm going to ask everyone in the chat then, because I can't ever get a legitimate answer out of you. Do you feel the same way about Gunther, the way that you did when he was Intercontinental Champion? You still view him as the same dominating figure that scares opponents. You still think that they're the same guy.
Yes.
There's just no fucking way, dude.
There's 1,000%.
There's just no way.
There is a way, and it's my way.
But this is
my way or the highway. Check out my melody.
The way that you make it seem is like I'm just some moron that no one agrees with.
You're wrong. I didn't say you're a moron. I just said you're wrong.
No.
You're so wrong.
No,
but it's okay.
You're telling all of these people. But see,
I am telling all these people. Yes. This is just a fact.
This is the problem. Gunther scared mid-carders. Again, I don't understand how you guys view him the same.
What do you mean?
I don't get it. And Nathaniel doesn't view him the same. So this is what I'm saying. It was completely dumb. It was just so dumb. And it just disappointed me. That's all. Like, wow, he looked so dominating against a commentator. Wow, impressive, scary. I am not wrong. This is the thing.
That's so great. That's so great. Hold on.
Hold on.
That's great.
Okay, hold on. I have not once said you were wrong, by the way.
I know, because I'm not.
No, beautiful. You know why? Because it's a difference of opinion. I get so irked when someone tells me my opinion is wrong. It's not wrong. I have my opinion, you have yours. I don't have to agree with your opinion, but that does not mean that I'm wrong. So, no, you tell me that all the time, which again, I told you I hate when you say that, because it like implies that I'm stupid because I'm looking at it one way. What I'm saying is my opinion can't be wrong. We're not talking about facts here. I'm not saying 1 + 1 is 3 and you're like, well, your opinion's wrong. No, In that case, it would be wrong. Yeah, because you can't. I mean, 1 + 1 is not 3. What I'm saying is this is a difference of opinion. So I can't stand it when someone tells me that my opinion's wrong. It's not wrong, and that's why I'm not saying your opinion's wrong. I'm saying I don't understand how you view it that way. I don't understand that how you can't see what I'm saying, but I'm not going to say you're wrong. So
Okay. But
he apologized. I don't want anyone to say I'm right, he's wrong, I'm wrong, he's right. What?
I'm just trying to see Anthony C's profile picture. Is that LA Knight?
Yeah, I think
or is that actually Anthony C?
I don't know. I tell you wrong because you say something silly like Gunther sucks. Gunther does not suck. That can be your
That I'll
opinion.
agree with.
And I say that you're wrong because, like, I think if you're a fan of professional wrestling, you kind of can be wrong when it comes to talent. But I feel like, I mean, you make somewhat of an argument, but like, still, I don't get it. But what? You're joking? That is very rude. And
Oh, it is LA Knight. That is
very
LA
rude.
Knight.
It's very rude. Anyway, all I'm saying is, I just wish that they were booking Gunther better at the end of the day. That's all. I just wish that they were doing better by him. I don't feel like they're I even believe like Vince McMahon did better by Gunther than Triple H. But since we're talking about that, we did see that Gunther manipulated, I guess you could say, his way into getting a rematch with Jey Uso, and they said that it is going to be happening at the Raw after Money in the Bank in Phoenix, and I'm hopefully going to be there. And my initial thought to this was, I am pissed off. I don't want to see this because this is just going to be another way for them to make Gunther look like an idiot. They're just going to have Jay beat him. This is stupid. And it's possible that's still going to happen. However, because it's 2 days after Money in the Bank, I think that there is a good chance we see a cash in.
Very what am I trying to say?
I couldn't he what? He was about to release him? Anyway, I don't know who's going to win Money in the Bank. I don't know. But I think that there's a much better chance that if we're going to get a cash in, because Cena's going to be on Raw as well. They just advertised that he will be in Phoenix. I find it more hard to believe that whoever does the cash in would cash in on Cena. I think that if we get a cash in, it's going to be a cash in on Jey Uso. If I had to fantasy book this, assuming that Gunther's going to lose, no matter what happens, I want to see like a Seth Rollins style cash in. I want to see whoever cashes in tries to cash in the middle of the match. That's what I want to see. I would prefer if Gunther wasn't the one to get pinned, but I would prefer that, I think, than seeing Gunther just flat out lose and then someone comes out and like beats Jay for the title. I don't want to see Gunther get pinned or choked out or whatever the fuck they want to do.
Or tap out.
I don't want to see that. So anything that can avoid like him being like taking another loss from Jey Uso, I'm here for it.
I was gonna initially say that I don't think he manipulated because Sarah, he's kind of owed a rematch.
No, I know, but like, I meant like, I mean, they
your guy
already had. No, I'm fine with it, but it
your
looked
guy
like
deserves that rematch.
They looked like they were
Logan
trying to
Paul?
move on from that. Is all
Correct.
I meant. Is like he kind of made it seem like, oh, I talked to Adam Pearce and like I'm making
he didn't
this
forget.
happen.
No,
So-
Gunther didn't forget. He didn't forget that he had a rematch clause in that contract, of course, and that's why I don't care, about this Logan Paul, Jey Uso Saturday like world title match, because it is going to be it'll be a fun match. That'll be a good way. Like it'll be a great match for the crowd and whatever. the match that everyone still wants to see and is waiting for is that rematch. So like, it's just going along with the story. I'm fine with it. I like it. You know, I don't have a lot of questions and not like, oh, that doesn't make sense. That's stupid. Like, no,
I just don't want to see it. Like, do I want him to have his rematch? Sure, because that's like the old school way of going about things. Although
that's wrestling.
they don't really do that
That's wrestling.
anymore.
Yeah,
But I just don't want to see Gunther lose. That's the problem. It's like we do not need to see him lose to Jay again. It's like we don't.
exactly. Like I've seen this before. That Saturday night's main event is a glorified house show.
Yeah.
And to those people, I ask, what's wrong with that?
I
Like,
don't
what is wrong with that?
okay, I'm going to say the issue that I have is the fact that we are having pay-per-views every 2 weeks for like the next 2 months. That's the problem that I have. We have Backlash. 2 weeks later, we have Saturday night's main event. 2 weeks later, we have Money in the Bank. 3 weeks later, we have Night of Champions. And then like 2 weeks later, oh, well, I don't know what happens in July actually, but I that's the issue that I have is that then they just start to try and cram storylines into like happening and people to care about it in like a 2-week time period, and I hate that.
What if because I don't view it like they are trying to get you to care about it as like a canon thing.
Mhm.
The way they, at least how I'm viewing it, is they should make this like a sideshow. Like, yeah, there's gonna be some, rivalries brewing or whatnot, but like this is the opportunity to throw random matches in there and just fantasy book in a sense. Because you're going to be taking away house shows. I mean, it was already reported today. We'll probably talk more about it on Thursday, but the president of TKO wants to do away with even more house shows than
They haven't had any house shows like yet
but
this
like they
year.
got rid like point is like with the whole purpose of this, whether you said it or not, the whole purpose of this is that they don't even have any like they did years ago. They have no live events like that. And even if they did, they want to keep that up. Well, people are going to film it. People are going to just like put the clips online, the match, whatever. So why not broadcast it? And the wrestlers are still working a decent scale. It works. If
I
you
w-
view it like that and view it just like it's fun wrestling and just a fun show that doesn't have to mean much, it's just on, and then sure, it's a way to get like casual people in.
I
Like,
would argue
sure.
that they are actually doing themselves a disservice by like eliminating house shows.
I would agree
I'm not
in
saying
a
okay,
sense.
I'm going to
No, I'm
say
not. Yeah, I'm not trying to like. I'm actually with you that they are doing somewhat of a disservice, but I see the benefit from it,
well,
and
that's what I was going to say. Do they
yeah, the
need to be
human.
doing it all week, every single week of the year? No. Did they need to be working Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year? No, they don't.
No,
But I think like basically they've not done a single house show for the entire like 2025 so far. Not great. Not great because like you're really separating yourself from the fans. You're not gaining fans either because the shows are becoming more unaffordable. So someone's not going to be like, "Oh, let's just go see what's going on with WWE this week." Oh, nosebleed sick tickets are $500. No one's going, but they
well, you
would
know what
go to a
their
house show for
yeah,
like, $75.
and you know what their solution is to that, or their answer, I mean, is it's NXT. It's
Yeah, but
LF.
like
Like
it's
they're gonna
like
start. That's your house show.
yeah,
That is your
but the
live
problem
event.
is that NXT is in Florida. So I'm saying like if they were doing house
Yeah.
shows, like do like 1 week of house shows a month. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I think that it's TKO is trying to make it too much like UFC and it's not working. So, and that's why prices are getting jacked up also because they're not doing house shows. So
That's
they're like
that bubble's
not
gonna burst.
it's like you're not making the money that you want, so you're jacking the prices up, and it's like you could easily change that by adding house shows. It allows fans to see like different stuff because they don't have to be in character necessarily, they don't have to be in storylines,
Yeah.
like they are able to like interact with the fans a lot more. Like it's also a time to give people practice, like to see like, okay, can this person be in front of a live crowd and it like works, or see their reaction, blah
Mhm.
blah blah. It just I don't know.
It's a good discussion.
Tom, you know
That's
what?
That's what I laughed at. That's what I laughed at
figured,
what you were saying because he broke me. That's fucking
dude,
hilarious.
it's not a fucking lie though. Like,
Sell your
this is the
body.
thing. The reason we didn't go to Mania 41 is because one night of tickets was more expensive than our entire 2-day trip to Mania 40, which is wild because I get it. It's Philly
That's a
versus
year.
Vegas.
That's a year difference. Keep that in mind
Yeah.
too. That is only a year.
And it's like, yeah, Vegas is different from Philly. However, you would think that Mania 40 would be considered a bigger deal because it's 40. Like, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it's like,
No.
given what the matches were, they were way bigger than what Mania 41 was, I would argue. And it's like, it was going to be more money for one night at Mania than it would be for both nights. You could almost throw in like Raw and NXT into last year's tickets and it would still be less than one night of Mania this year. Like, it was so crazy.
It would definitely, if you threw in SmackDown and Hall of Fame, NXT and Raw after, it was definitely cheaper than both nights of just Mania this year.
Yeah,
100%. It is getting a little bit ridiculous, but the problem is that as we walk around WWE World and the WWE shop, people are buying shit. They're buying everything, and so that's the issue: is that people are buying stuff, and the lines are to the entrance.
But this is the argument I would make for like the $40,000 tickets for SummerSlam, right? You are alienating so many of your like homegrown lifelong fans because the people that can afford that shit are people that have throwaway money. Those are not the people that have been supporting you for the last 10, 15, 20 years. They're the ones who can't afford to go to your shows anymore. So you're pricing them out. And it's like, are those the ones that you don't want to stick around? Or you really are catering to the elites, as we call them, like the rich elites, or the people that you're like, oh, maybe they'll come to SummerSlam and that'll make them a fan. And it's like, yeah, but what are you doing to the people who have been here and watch your product every single week and buy the merch? You're now pricing them out from even seeing their favorite wrestlers live. Like, how's that fair? That doesn't make any sense, especially when you say you're like, we love the kids. Yeah, well, the fucking kids can't go anymore because their parents can't afford it. Like, imagine trying to take a family of 4.
Can't do it.
To Raw. You can't do it.
Disney. Can't do it.
They want casual fans, not new fans or old ones, and this is why we see Travis Scott. And that's the problem. Like, there's a way to go about it to bring in new fans, but to still appreciate the ones who have been here, especially when you talk about like the last 10 years of WWE has mostly been bad. So like,
10 years.
That there are people who are still watching the product as it gets better, those are the people you should be caring about more and rewarding more than the people who are just tuning in because Travis Scott was at Backlash. Like, what are we doing? No, we haven't talked about that match yet. I'm probably gonna skip the New Day thing. Who cares? I
thought the commentary was hilarious. That's all I want to. That's all I want to say for the match is that the commentary was awesome and that they need to be doing more of that. 100%.
And this is the thing too. Casual fans are not watching during football seasons again, so it's like it's gonna backfire. They're also not the ones that are going to the shows because if you're raising the prices, a casual fan who just started watching 2 weeks ago is not going to pay $500 for nosebleeds. Like, they're just not. A lifelong, like, dedicated fan might pay $500 for nosebleeds, but not the person who just started watching. Like, it's just not going to happen. But it definitely is a TKO issue. Triple H, I feel like, should be able to. I'm not saying that he can change it on his own, but it feels like there are enough people in WWE that understand what they're doing, and if they had a legitimate problem with it, they could go and have a conversation with them. But they love being able to read off all of the records that they're breaking, the gates that they're setting. Like, that's the problem, is like they like to be able to pat themselves on the back for all of this. So it's like they don't see it because they're like, well, we still sold out. And it's like, you're still lying about selling out because we were at Mania last year and they said we were sold out. They definitely were not sold out. Just because you saw all the tickets off Ticketmaster does not mean that you're sold out because you didn't check TickPick or StubHub. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, okay, moving on. So Becky Lynch She was the only one that I thought was going to win, change titles at
Mhm.
Backlash, and instead Lyra retained. I'm actually okay with it because that match was so good. It really made Lyra look amazing. Becky looked great. Obviously, she's doing exactly what I've been preaching about her doing. Um, and she came out on Raw to plead her case, put down Lyra, but also started to attack the fans and bring in more of that sense of reality that we've kind of been talking about with some of the other wrestlers. I mean, if we want to directly compare her to another woman that is bringing in that sense of reality right now, we could talk about Charlotte, because she just did that on SmackDown,
Mhm.
leaving the building because the fans were booing her, blah, blah, blah. Becky is kind of doing that in her own way, saying that the reason why I left for almost a year was because you guys were not, like, you didn't care that I was here, you didn't want me here, whatever. And I think she's doing a great job. Like, everything that she's doing, it could almost be some of her best heel work. As I didn't love Big Time Bex, if we're talking, I mean, I loved the outfits, but I didn't really love the direction that the character went. And I feel like they really have something that they could go with now. And so she's doing, I don't know, I think she's doing a fantastic job so far.
I think it's been good. She's been able to do a good job on continuing this feud with Lyra pretty organically, and her frustration showed last night in that promo. I like to see that from Becky, to show that she still cares and that she's
Mm-hmm.
not just like phoning it in, and you could just hit your signature lines, call out Lyra, do the casual stuff, but no, she was really speaking from the heart, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And taking a little page out of Cena right now a little bit with what
Yeah,
he's doing, obviously to a lesser scale, but really getting as much heat as she can on her so that Lyra comes out the ultimate hero out of this, even if
exactly
she
what
does have to
we
lose her title to get it back.
exactly what we said was going to happen.
Hmm.
That Becky gets into these things because she wants to elevate talent, and that's exactly what she's doing, despite people
Yeah,
trying to say she's Becky Hogan. I'm
no, I'll
like,
agree with you there, Sarah. 100%,
like
like, oh, 1,000% agree with you there. That the Becky Hogan shit needs to stop because
it's
she's
just
like,
like, the thing is like, let's just look at how that match was received at Backlash. Okay, like, sorry, was I talking over you? You were cutting out, so I might have talked.
what?
Did
No,
I?
you're good.
Okay, because
I was listening.
you froze, so I was like, oh my god, I
Oh,
talk over you, and I didn't even notice.
no, you're
um
good.
Anyway, if you listen to how invested that
Mhm.
crowd was in that match, and they were not that hyped for every single match at Backlash. They even got a "This is awesome" chant, I think, at least once or twice. Lyra was getting really loudly cheered, and from the beginning, from the second that her music hit, that has not been the case for Lyra nearly at all. She's kind of been going on the same path that we talk about, like the War Raiders, where it's like people know that they're good in ring, but they do not give a shit when they come out. It's like, or
Mhm.
even Andrade, like, you're going to get a good match, and then once you're watching the match, people start to get really into it and get loud and
They
cheer.
don't have that, yeah, they don't have that when
Yeah,
they come out. That is
exactly. And
tough.
that's like what's been going on with Lyra, and it feels like that might not be the situation anymore because of what's going on with her and uh and Becky. So I don't know. I think that this has the potential to be really good. I think that this could be something that extends to SummerSlam, assuming that Becky will probably win the IC title, and then the whole point is like Lyra, winning it back, or maybe
Taking
Bailey gets involved somehow, and maybe
I would like to
that.
see Bailey with it. I
Yeah.
really would. That'd be
Hmm.
cool. Then she'd be a real Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, I think that she could beat her in the second match, maybe. I don't know. I really thought it was going to happen the first time, so I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, it could be that maybe Becky never wins it. Maybe it becomes a triple threat, and it's because Becky keeps mentioning Bailey, and then the three of them, like, that maybe that's the match, like, that headlines Evolution, because the current rumor is that
See, like,
Evolution will be
that would be
happening.
beautiful. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a pretty cool, like, headliner um for Evolution. Like, I don't know how much more exciting like that could be, you know. Um, and I agree, Becky is doing her job well. Oh my
Very
goodness.
well. She's doing it very well.
But yeah, moving on to the main event, which was Julia and Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky
This
and
was
Rhea
great.
Ripley, which it kind of
Banger.
I'm still confused about what exactly the plan is with Julia. It seems like she's on the main roster now, which again kind of
No,
invalid.
they're both still listed internally with on the NXT roster.
Okay.
Just more exposure to get them on Raw
They're
for the
gonna
future.
and they're gonna I mean, the draft has not been mentioned, so it's like I don't know if they're just kind of like disregarding that again already or what,
No,
but
it's just I think they're waiting. I don't see a real issue with Julia and Roxanne popping into Raw because what is there to do on NXT and what there's no easier way
mm,
to have
well,
them pop up to Raw, go after the big dog in the yard and try to, make a name for themselves. It's like,
well, and
would you
I
rather
think
that or would you rather them try to feud with Maxine Dupree and Natalia?
well, and I think also when it comes to Julia, they will want to call her up maybe before, but at least at a different time than when Stephanie Vaquer gets called up. They're not going to want to call them up at the same time. So I think that it's kind of important that like, okay, let's have Julia. Sorry, hiccup. Let's have Julia get called up first because technically she was in the company first. Even though I don't think that she debuted too much before Stephanie did.
Mm-hmm.
But get her up, get her established. Let Stephanie go do the thing, that she's doing down in NXT right now as the women's champion. And then maybe she gets called up eventually, like later this year or, maybe at the Rumble or something next year. So it feels like they're because I don't know if you saw this, but after they lost, Roxanne and Julia are no longer a tag team. Julia made it clear that Roxanne is now on her own. So we're not.
Did that happen at the end of? I was too focused on.
No, it was a video like that was posted online
I was
afterwards.
working today. I missed it. Okay.
Yeah. So whatever people were hoping for out of a potential tag team continuing between Julia and Roxanne, it appears that is not going to happen. So it makes you wonder, are they going to stay up on Raw? Are we going to be seeing like Julia versus Io, Julia versus Rhea? Like, is that the direction that we're going to go in? Are they going to go back down to NXT? I don't know. But I mean, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it keeps me interested. It's making me want to watch NXT because they could still be there.
I feel like initially Julia gave me SmackDown vibes, and I still feel like she could fit on SmackDown.
It's the
but
blow.
like it's not. It's just like there's just something about the vibes. Like I don't know how I can explain it. It's like we've been saying LA Knight is
No,
wrong,
yeah, I'm with you.
you
You
know?
don't have to, plead your case. I'm with you that some people
Yeah.
just scream one brand and others
Yeah.
scream the other. I preach to the
But
choir.
I do think that someone like Julia could be on either, but I really do feel like Stephanie screams Raw. So
It's the star power. I'm with you.
Yeah, so I
But
feel
that's why I
like
just want to keep her in NXT for a little bit.
yeah, I think she needs to I think she needs to
Fine.
because I think if they're gonna call up Julia, if they have
And
plans to call
Roxanne.
up Stephanie, then they need to have Stephanie on Raw and move Julia to SmackDown. And Julia actually has like if they're looking at the SmackDown women's roster right now, it's deep. I mean, obviously they have issues because Bianca is injured right now, but they have Bianca, they have Charlotte, they have Jade, they have Naomi. Like there are a lot of girls that Julia could feud with over there. So it's not like moving her to SmackDown would be like, a downgrade or something, but it feels like Stephanie's Raw. So and I doubt that they would want them on the same show. Like that would be a disaster in my opinion. But at the end of the show, we saw Rhea and Io were celebrating together. Io's left arm was holding up the Women's World Championship, and that is the arm that Rhea was also holding up to celebrate. And we saw that look from Rhea, like she has her eyes on that championship, and it immediately got people talking because people, I mean, we've even saw it in the chat today that Rhea is kind of becoming the Raw version of Charlotte Flair, where they like simply cannot book her into any storyline that does not involve a championship. And that has been the case basically for the past, what, 2-3 years for Rhea. Yeah, because she won the title at Mania 39 and had the title for a year. So I don't, okay, I like Rhea more than I like Charlotte. Obviously, I'm not going to try and pretend that, but I do think that after, I would say I would agree with this with Richard, that Rhea can face Io one more time, but she needs to lose and she needs to move on. Like, we need to see her get into a story. Maybe it is with Julia, or maybe it is with somebody else, you know, but like, I want to see what Rhea can do when it isn't for a championship, because I think that really is when you see what someone is truly capable of. Because we've said, you know, like Becky, for instance, has been really good at getting you to care about her stories and her matches, and it had nothing to do with the championship. You know, like, how invested were people in her versus Trish Stratus? They had one of the best matches in that cage match.
Steel cage matches all
and
time.
Didn't involve a title, you know? So I would like to see what Rhea can do when it doesn't involve the title. I'm just not sure when we're going to have that chance.
I do not mind that Rhea Ripley is constantly in the title picture, because she's that girl in the women's, you know, that woman. I'm a grown ass woman. That's just
Oh my
like,
God. Wait, hold on.
Popped up in my head when I said she is that woman.
I'm gonna blow your mind for a second. I saw a TikTok of her, of Thea.
And she's like 19.
Is she dating Harlem Lewis?
Oh yeah, she took Cora Jade's dude.
Dude,
Harlem Lewis was dating Cora Jade.
I
and
know,
then they broke.
but I saw a video of them like getting coffee together, and he was the one filming it, and I was like, holy shit, this motherfucker does not leave my sight.
He's gonna be like an up and comer, like, soon in NXT, and we're gonna be watching him win the North American title. Like, that's just how this is gonna go.
Now we know that part of the drama between that Cora was probably having behind the
can't
scenes.
wait for that tea to be spilled. Oh my God.
I don't know that I really care, because I feel like her and
tea.
I don't know what really happened. Obviously, like, let's say Harlem didn't cheat on her or something, right? Her and Harlem were not together for that long for her to like get that upset over potentially Thea Hale dating him. You know what I mean? Like, it really is. It is a reality show, apparently.
Yeah, it's love. Yes, of course it is.
Well, and that's the thing, is they're all young, they're all attractive, they're all athletic, they're all like around each other 24/7. So like, of course they're gonna date each other. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, getting back to,
you ever work in a restaurant?
No, I have not, actually.
it's a cesspool. But back to the topic at hand. I do not care that Rhea Ripley is fighting for the title constantly in the best way possible, because she is the top dog in the yard. I already said, like, when she comes out and her music hits, she is the loudest pop of the night. And if that, like, that's the benchmark you want to have for your, you know, your top stars. And for her to be fighting for the title, well, like you said it, I agree there, that if she is not going to be fighting for the title, then like, give her something, you know, to go with. That's why the Liv Morgan story was so long, because it didn't involve a title. It was, I mean, it did, but didn't, because she took Judgment Day away from her too. You know, there was a little bit more substance here. Yeah, the title was there, but there was a little bit more than the title. Now you need something a little bit more without a group, like on her own. Like, what are you going to attack that's personal? You know, and that's the next step. And it's just, you're waiting for that opportunity, that superstar, that like, good, moment,
So the see, like I get it, but I also feel like there needs to be a time where like okay, let's talk about Becky, right? Becky should be in the women's world title picture 24/7. No matter if she's on Raw or SmackDown, she should be in the women's title picture because it's Becky Lynch, right? Like, obviously, you're not going to question if she's going for the women's title. However, there also comes a time where we want to see someone like Becky Lynch working with someone like a Lyra Valkyria. And even though there is a title involved in this instance, it's nice to see them help other girls be elevated and to like see if they can be in that main event spot at the same time. So it's like I want to see Rhea do that. Like have Rhea work with Roxanne, have Rhea work with Julia. And I'm not questioning whether or not that those girls can be main eventers, but in the eyes of the Raw audience right now, they're not main eventers, right? Because like they just got brought up from NXT. Like, who are these girls? So it's like, I think if she did a program with Julia and like help put Julia over,
See, like,
that's
that's
still a fire feud and story, and it doesn't involve the title. But it's like, are we going to see that? Can Rhea do that? You know, like Rhea's star power is not going away. It's not going to be hindered because
she's only 28.
Well,
she's only 28.
It's like she's gonna be fine if she steps away from the women's world title picture for a while. So, I don't know. I think that it would be nice if we could just see something different from her. That's all. But also, yeah, and also, I was just gonna say, I also want them to be putting some more respect on Io Sky, because them having Rhea come out last, I hate that they're not having champions come out last.
I knew you were gonna say something about that. I was like, oh,
I hate it. I hate it because they don't do it with the men.
Why?
They almost don't ever do it with the men. They do it with the women, and that pisses me off because we already make it look like they don't really respect Io as the champion. Like, literally, Rhea missed what, 1 or 2 Raws? Did we really need to have her come out last because you wanted her to have like the loudest pop? She was gonna have the loudest pop anyway.
That's why.
Like,
that's why.
But it's like, it doesn't matter when she comes out; she'll get a pop anyway. So it's like she could have come out first, and then Io could have came out last, the way that we normally do things. And they did put up a noise meter, but the thing is to be fair,
they only put it up for Rhea. But they only put it up for Rhea.
To be fair, I'm glad that they did this because that Io's would not have compared to Rhea's. So like, to me, I'd rather not her look embarrassed or something. You know what I mean? Because the crowd's not as loud. I'm glad, Tom, you and I are very similar in that way, because I have a very old school brain with a lot of things when it comes to wrestling. So like, I like things that they used to do, and I wish that they still did them that way. And that's one of them, like having the champion come out last. It shouldn't matter who the champion is or who they're against. They should come out last because that's how it's done. You don't have the champion come out first. It's like the champion is almost always introduced last. And then when they randomly are like, Io Sky is introduced first, it's like, what are we doing?
We got NXT on right now, 30 minutes into it, and 10 minutes ago, so they're probably into a match at this point. They did a backstage segment with Tatum Paxley, Carmen, and I have it up here. Carmen and Thea Hale, Harlem Lewis's girlfriend. We're walking backstage. I haven't listened to the audio because obviously, and they just throw, like, they cut to Tatum Paxley throwing shit like against a wall and stuff. And I don't know what she's saying, but she quote tweeted the clip that WWE put out and said, "I'm alone again." So,
oh my God, Harlem Lewis is only 24, brother. He looked rough. I was waiting for you to say that the 3 of those women were fighting over Harlem Lewis, because apparently he's like,
could you imagine a triple threat match for Harlem Lewis?
Oh my God,
Harlem Lewis on a pole match.
Yeah, it's what we should have gotten with Dom. But
imagine we just stuck him up on a pole.
Also, guys, I told Pat, but I got basically like kind of like an employee of the month type of thing at work, but it's like of the quarter, which was really cool. And I was able to get a gift card. And because my boss knows how much I love WWE, he does too. But he got me a gift card to WWE shop. What should I buy? I want to know. I don't know,
You
Lewis.
could get a cheap title,
Yeah, I don't know that I
like a
want to waste
$200
it
one.
all on one though.
I love titles. You could get like,
I want to get a few shirts. I think like I kind of
yeah,
want to.
you got
I
to go
want a
shirts.
dirty dom.
See, like, all right. My thing with W Shop is I like this hat. It's great, but like I want more of a hat like my WrestleMania Mitchell and Ness one that I got in Philly, the best WrestleMania of all time. But they didn't have like the only one they had there that was relatively similar was the WrestleMania 9 one from when they were in Vegas, which makes sense. I wanted to buy it, but they had a logo next to it that was just not, age appropriate, we'll say. Like I can't wear that. Like it looks like it didn't look good. Did not look good. So I need another like Mitchell and Ness type of thing. And they only like the NWO, like they did not have good selections on hats.
Sorry, I'm just seeing what you sent me on Twitter. So I'm like, oh my god, he's such an idiot. Like, oh yeah, our dynamic pricing. Yeah, you love oh my god. A fake Jey Uso tweeting me. Hello, my beautiful woman. I really appreciate you for supporting my career. Now kindly follow me on this news account. It's for some of my new fans. Hit me on here now.
Oh, you got to hit him up.
Fake Jey Uso doesn't get it. I will not get a Yeet shirt. I'm sorry. Get a pet mouse and the U.S. title. I mean, I don't know if I can buy a mouse from WWE shop though.
It sounds like an Uncle Howdy pet. Like he just has a pet mouse.
Oh my god,
that would be such an ugly.
When I was at I was in San Jose for Raw and we were like standing like where the wrestlers drive in. There was a girl there that kept talking about her pet rat. That was good times. She also wrote a letter to the Undertaker's brother Kane, and she had it in an envelope and wanted them to give it to Kane because he was the Undertaker's brother. So
I think I thought of one of the speaking of kayfabe like things, but I forgot it. I'm like mad. Maybe I'll have it for the next
El Grande Americano is not Chad Gable. Well, I don't want an Edge shirt, Nathaniel. I'm sorry. I'm not an Edge head. I think I might get a Dirty Dom shirt. Tom says, remember when Rowan had the item in the cage and it was a shitty giant fake spider?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Rowan's freaking cage was so weird. Oh, that thing was so weird.
How much is it on your gift? If you get a lot by the no, it's
you don't have enough.
It's
you don't
200.
have enough.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
bought
200.
that last year. That was the best purchase I've made in the last 5 years.
Yeah, no, it's 200.
I don't even care.
So that's why I'm like, maybe I should just get a few shirts. Maybe, I don't know. I was also looking at, I don't know. I kind of wanted I don't know. Like, I kind of like the plaques that come with like a piece of the ring mat, but I don't know.
Don't be bad.
I have one for Cody when he won the title. But anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw. That's what we thought. Let us know your thoughts as well in the chat or on other videos that we have posted. And the best way to view those is when they are posted. How? Hit the subscribe and bell notification to know every time that we post and go live. Tuesdays for the rewind, Thursdays for the super show, and like weekend for SmackDown breakdown. It's looking, we got to do something with that. So, but yeah, we'll be those 2 days for sure. And then we post every day. So, and check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network. I stream WWE 2K25, the My Rise career mode, where myself as my alter ego Nonsense and Sarah's alter ego, the bad gal from 2K24, have joined up to take down Mutiny. What the hell am I talking about? Well, go over to twitch.tv, Nonsense Sports Network, and go check it out. Follow us on social media, Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, at Patty Pitts and at SMarshXO, and on Instagram at Patty Pitts. And you have two, and I don't know which one's the one that's like professional.
I don't really go on that Instagram, so
All
it's
right.
fine.
So yeah, there we go. And TikTok as well. Can't forget to mention the TikTok. What are we at now? Last time you checked.
8.
We're almost at 1,000. Oh, I found out I can go live on TikTok.
Yeah, I think we can go live before 1,000. You just can't make money. We're at 874.
All right, well, let's get live on TikTok and start making some money so I don't have to sell fish.
You have to hit 1,000.
Well, we're 200 away. Help us get that goal, peeps. Tell your friends, tell your fam, tell the homeless man that you drive by in the street. Whatever gets the job done, get it done. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. I mean, bro, basically my life is nonsense, so it's a dual personality type of thing. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you gotta do is try. See you on Thursday.